This is how Audi plans to take on the world's fastest sport and rewrite a century-old rivalry. Audi's been flirting with Formula 1 for years, but it wasn't until 2022, when the new hybrid engine rules were announced, that they finally said it out loud. The plan? Don't start from zero, buy a team. After months of quiet talks with McLaren, Williams and even Aston Martin, they landed on Sauber, the name Swiss outfit that has been quietly surviving in Formula 1 for 3 decades. Now on paper, Sauber and Audi might look like opposites. One's a small efficient team that's made a career out of punching above its weight, the other's a global powerhouse with a trophy room big enough to have its own postcode. But that's what makes it so fascinating. Audi's trying to turn one of Formula 1's smallest teams into a giant. They've taken over Sauber's iconic base in Hinwil, the same one that built BMW's F1 cars in the 2000s, and they're already testing part of their 2026 engines in Nyborg, Germany. That's Audi's secret weapon. They're the only new team entering with their own power unit. No customer deals, no borrowed tech. Everything from the turbo housing to the combustion chamber is being designed in-house. And just like every modern F1 operation except Ferrari, they've built a satellite base in Britain's Motorsport Valley, a small outpost in Bicester surrounded by Red Bull, Mercedes and Aston Martin engineers, which means Audi can poach their talent without asking anyone to move halfway across Europe. The team already has its 2026 driver lineup locked in Nico Hülkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto. Hülkenberg's the safe pair of hands, 245 starts, years of feedback experience and the last German standing after Vettel retired. He's worked with the Volkswagen Group before too. He won Le Mans with Porsche in 2015. Bortoleto is the opposite, young, fast, raw. He blitzed through F3 and F2 back-to-back and made it to Formula 1 without a big academy backing him. Together, they're Audi's balance of experience and potential. A driver who knows the system and a kid who wants to break it. But the drivers are only a part of the story, because Audi's also been building a leadership team straight out of an F1 dream lineup. Mattia Binotto, Ferrari's ex-team boss, now runs operations and technical development. Jonathan Wheatley, Red Bull's strong long-time sporting director, is stepping up as team principal. It's a brain trust built to win, and Audi knows it. It will need every ounce of that experience if they're going to take Formula 1's elite. Audi didn't join Formula 1 to fill the grid, they joined to win. Officially, the goal was simple: fight for championships within 3 years of their debut. Unrealistic? Maybe. But remember, Mercedes did it. Then again, so did Honda. They came back in 2015 with McLaren, promised a 3-year plan to fight for the titles, and spent those years at the back of the grid, embarrassed and underpowered. It's a reminder that even the biggest car makers can't buy success in Formula 1. Not with money, not with promises. Still, as the project's grown, Audi's learned the truth about Formula 1. It's one thing to build an F1 car, it's another to build an F1 team. Sauber's always lived in the lower midfield, sometimes impressive, but never dangerous. Hülkenberg's podium at Silverstone this year was their first in 13 years. For Audi, that is not success. That's a starting point. Mattia Binotto said it best earlier this year. Audi can't accept being a midfield team, and he's right. Because when you got Volkswagen money, German engineering, and the expectations of an entire country on your back, 8th place isn't enough. The goal is clear: become a race-winning team by the end of the decade. And to do that, Audi's betting on something deeper than horsepower: culture. That's the biggest challenge Audi faces, not just catching up to Red Bull or Mercedes, but learning how to. When Audi took over Sauber, they didn't just buy infrastructure. They bought a mentality, which is built on accepting that winning wasn't realistic, and changing that might be the hardest part of all. That kind of mindset doesn't just vanish because the logo on the wall changes. It sounds silly, right? Every F1 team wants to win, but Sauber's never been there. In more than 3 decades on the grid, they've only won a single race. They don't have the history or the muscle memory of success that teams like Williams or even Alpine can look back on. Sauber's a tight-knit group, smart, efficient, loyal, but winning isn't in their DNA yet. Wheatley became team principal. They've gone from the last in the Constructors' Championship to 8th, jumping above Haas and Alpine. Hülkenberg's podium was the crowning moment, but Audi's success needs to be more wide-ranging than just one result. The podium was only the beginning of a journey to change a culture. Jonathan Wheatley said it perfectly. We're on a journey towards winning races and championships by the end of the decade. It's not a straight line, there are dips, bumps, hairpins, but the goal doesn't change. It started with a plan from Volkswagen. In 2022, the group announced that both Audi and Porsche would enter Formula 1 under the new 2026 engine rules. A 4-year countdown to bring two German powerhouses back to the grid. Porsche came close with Red Bull, but never found the right partner. Audi did. But this isn't Audi's first step into single-seater racing. Not even close. The Audi story begins over a century ago, in 1909, in the German town of Zwickau. 2 decades later, on the brink of collapse, Audi joined forces with 3 other car makers to form a new company, Auto Union, and the new symbol, 4 rings. By the 1930s, Auto Union has become a motorsport powerhouse. Their cars were engineering monsters, slick, silver rockets that terrorized the pre-war European racing scene. Drivers like Achille Varzi and Brent Rosmeier turned them into legends, dueling with Mercedes and Rudolf Caracciola for speed and glory. In 1936, Rosmeier won the European Drivers' Championship, beating the best in the world. It should have been the start of a dynasty, but history had other plans. War ended the dream before it truly began. When the dust settled, the company was reborn, Audi NSU Auto Union, in 1969. And from there, the modern Audi history began. The 1980s changed everything. With the Quattro, Audi rewrote the rulebooks of rallying, turbocharged all-wheel drive dominance that forced the world to catch up. Then came the endurance era. 13 victories at Le Mans between 1999 and 2014. No gimmicks, no luck, just relentless precision. They even took a swing at the future with Formula E, racing electrical power long before it was fashionable. But through it all, one question remained. When would Audi take on the world's ultimate stage, Formula 1? Now the wait is over. Their partner Sauber is no stranger to wearing manufacturer's badge. Founded by Peter Sauber in 1993, the team has raced as BMW Sauber, later Alfa Romeo, but never had the full backing of a major factory long term. For years, VW has used motorsport to sell a story: engineering excellence, innovation and prestige. From rallying to Le Mans, they've built empires through speed. But Formula 1, that was always the forbidden fruit. Too expensive, too political, too public. That changed with the 2026 regulations. The sport's push for sustainability gave Volkswagen the perfect opportunity to join without compromising its green credentials, and Audi became the brand chosen to lead the charge. After Audi left Formula E, VW didn't walk away from racing, they shifted focus. Cupra filled Audi's slot in electrical racing, Ducati became unstoppable in MotoGP. Winning had become a part of Volkswagen's playbook. Now F1 was the next move, the biggest one yet. Volkswagen's initial investment was massive, around $600 million, just to buy the team. Developing their own power unit added at least another $100 million, and that's before the cost of new infrastructure, recruitment, and a full season of racing begins. By the time the first car hits the track, the total bill will be well into the billions. To make the numbers work, Audi needed backing. In November 2024, the Qatar Investment Authority bought a minority stake in the team. It's a powerful ally. The same group tied to the Qatar Grand Prix and F1 sponsorship deals through Qatar Airways. Their involvement gives Audi financial breathing room at a time when the wider Volkswagen group has been cutting off costs and laying off staff. It keeps the Audi F1 project safe from internal pressure and the boardroom cuts. Because once Qatar is involved, the team becomes too valuable, too visible, to quietly kill off. So Audi finds itself exactly where it wants to be: funded, protected, and ready to take on the establishment. Especially one rival in particular, a name that's haunted them for nearly a century. Rivalry is the heartbeat of Formula 1. Senna versus Prost, McLaren versus Ferrari, Mercedes versus Red Bull. But in 2026, a new chapter begins. One that's been waiting nearly a century to be written. Audi versus Mercedes. They're not just rivals on the track, they're rivals in everything. Both giants of German engineering, both selling luxury, speed and status. But one has always been a step ahead. In 2024, Mercedes sold 2.4 million cars, Audi about 1.7. They've been chasing for years. And for a company as proud as Audi, that gap stings. So when the chance came to take the fight from the showroom to the circuit, they took it. The new Formula 1 engine regulations opened the door. Sustainable fuels, hybrid technology, a global spotlight on innovation. It was the perfect platform for Audi to show that clean and competitive can coexist, and to finally challenge the team that's defined modern Formula 1 dominance. Watching Mercedes sweep up 7 straight double championships must have been painful. Every podium, every trophy, every marketing campaign, all feeding into the legend of the Silver Arrows. Now Audi gets the chance to stand across the garage and fight them head on. And there's history there too. Long before Formula 1 became the powerhouse that it's today, Audi's predecessor, Auto Union, fought epic battles with Mercedes-Benz in the 1930s. Rosmeier versus Caracciola, courage versus calculation. They weren't just racing, they were defining what German engineering meant to the world. Then came the war. Decades pass, and now almost a century later, the rivalry is back. The connection runs even deeper through Sauber, the very team Audi bought. From 1988 to 1993, Sauber was the backbone of Mercedes' World Sports Car program. Together, they've won championships, even Le Mans. When Sauber stepped into F1 in 1993, they did it with Mercedes engines. 30 years later, the same team will now go wheel to wheel against Mercedes. A full circle twist that motorsport history rarely gives us. For Audi, the stakes couldn't be clearer. If they don't win races or titles, they will always be seen as Mercedes' understudy, just like Auto Union was in 1930s. But if they succeed, they don't just win races, they rewrite history. Because for Audi, Formula 1 isn't just another challenge, it is unfinished business. And they're not the only ones. Cadillac is betting $1 billion on Formula 2. And their story is right here on the screen. Watch it next and see how America plans to take on the world's fastest sport.